So we're live. It's very hard to push the button. uh, Tough to um, push the button and go live, and just obviously the last couple of days, the last day and a half here has been kind of a whirlwind. I thought about doing it yesterday, and just not for me. You gotta take a day. You gotta take a day to gather your thoughts because you don't want to go on some unhinged rant for 45 minutes about producers. I didn't want to do that. Um, I'm coming from a place of just more gratitude. Um, just grateful. It was what a run. I was in a space last night. Um, Not a great space. Not a great space. Some some people in there ungrateful. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe no. Not really engulfing the situation, and I didn't want to comment too much in there because uh, it's not much good that's for me that's going to come out of that. Going yesterday and talking about Kirk leaving the show probably didn't make sense either. So today I feel like is a good day to do it. Me personally, this is probably it for me right here. I've always said, and I've told people in my family, and my girlfriend, and other people that once the show's over, for me, there's not much more I really want to do. I only got into this. I only want to be part of this show. That's it. Um, it started a while ago for me. The first time I found out about EEI, I was with a friend at Rod's Grill in Warren, good friend of mine. He told me there was a sports station in Boston. We were in Rhode Island at the time, and all they talked about basically was that's what it was his words is that what they talked about was Pats and Red Sox, and that was it at the time. I remember thinking, wow, that's pretty fucking awesome. So I think the first show I ever really listened to was Dale and Numi. Numi had his nerds. I was a big Dale fan. And at that time, that's really all I had listened to. And I listened to that show for a while. Um, uh, then I kind of started to venture off a little bit into EEI land. I started listening to Ted Sarandis at nights. Big fan of Ted Sarandis. Um, then I started to watch the morning show with Jerry and John Dennis and Callahan, and that was the first introduction for me to Kirk was through that show. When he came in, I was there for the winter for the Kevin Winter disaster. Didn't work out, and they brought in this guy named Kirk Minahan, and my first actual like real memory of Kirk. They used to have a caller to EEI. I think his name was Tony in Bridgewater. I remember thinking like this guy calls. He would call up to the station and he would get like at the time I probably thought it was 30 minutes. It was probably like 7, 8 minutes of nonstop gibberish. He was an awful caller. At the time, I didn't really think of those things that way. And Kirk, I remember him. One of the first things I remember is him saying, "You are the fucking worst." Didn't use the F word. You're one of the worst callers that calls any station. I remember him saying, "You're just a punk. He's so mad at him," and he just rattled them. And I remember like, "Wow, this guy's a little different. This guy's a little different. He's going at people a little combative." And from there, I was pretty much hooked. So I would say from 2015 till now. I mean, starting probably 2000. I don't know when he joined the show. I think it was around that time. It feels right. But from there on out, I started really just going full in on that show. Uh, Dennis and Callahan became my pretty much my go-to show. And as Kirk was a little different. I know Kevin Winter sat in the booth. Kirk was not in the booth. Took him a little while to kind of get into it, but I remember the first thing when we really, I remember thinking like this guy is really part of the show was when he talked about masturbating in the back of the Suburban, flanking the Dolphin, I think he called it. or maybe that's what Jerry called. I remember, but from then on out, I pretty much watched everything. Every day was an appointment viewing at that point. Dennis and Callahan. It was I didn't listen to every hour of every show, and I think at that time they didn't really have the online stuff, so you had to catch it as soon as it came on, and it basically became something that I just listened to on a daily basis. And as got his role was more defined, and he started to really put his own spin on the show, and then eventually John Dennis left, and it was Kirk and Callahan. And from there on out, I really was just full on, until now, a 10-year run of listening to Kirk's content, to being enamored by Kirk. Just the more you learned, the more you couldn't believe how good this guy was on air. Uh, and it all came to a head, obviously, and he ended up fighting his way out of EEI, and ended up starting at Barstool, and the rest is history. The greatest podcast ever created was created from nothing. He had a little fan base in EEI, but no real. The show that he was doing at EEI was a sports show. I mean, theoretically, it was sports talk radio, but they were doing things a little different. But it definitely wasn't his show. When he crossed over and he had his own podcast, and it was time at Barstool, and he really started going. Obviously, it became just something completely different. This is a podcast that was, when it first came, was something you couldn't miss. I had missed 0 shows. I loved it. When it first came there, I couldn't have been happier that it actually went to Barstool. Be honest. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking shit about Dave, dude, that fucking retard, and other people. They really want to, you want to step on Dave, but at that time, it should be, he was. Where was he going to go? No, we didn't know. And Barstool gave him that platform to be himself, to go on and create a show that he wanted and not step in his way. And for that, I am truly grateful to Dave for letting that happen, because without Dave, we don't have that version. We don't have the version that we just saw for the last 6.5 years. And it started at the beginning right then. If you can have your opinions about Dave, I know a lot of people don't like him at this time, and it's fine and all that. But in the grand scheme of things, he's been a great boss for Kirk. He let that show be created, and the rest is history, really. It was a tough thing to hear yesterday, that the show was ending. I only feel gratitude at this point. I don't feel anything else other than that. I feel like he's, he put out a great podcast. And I do think these things do have a time when they have to stop. I think a lot of people are kind of missing the point here, are just not grasping what's going on, or they're trying to find reasons why it happened. And this is why you kind of should wait a day to do a show, so you can get the full context of everything. But I don't think it's that complicated at all. I think it's pretty simple. He created something from nothing and watched it blossom. The people that are all of us, none of us could do anything of the sort. We don't have that kind of ability. He has a unique ability to create a show out of nothing and turn it into an amazing podcast, and really hold on to that for 6.5 years. And it really never was bad. It never really jumped the shark for me personally. Other people have their own opinions, but for me to have to create something each day, I laugh at the people that think, he doesn't work that hard. Why? Because he's not like you that sits somewhere for 8 hours and fucking plays on a keyboard. You know how much harder his job is than yours? I mean, to have to create something on a day-to-day basis, for the amount of time that he did it, and have to be involved and engulfed in that, is a lot of work. I mean, it just is. And I totally understand him at this point saying, look, I've done this. I've conquered this, crushed this. I've got this to where, as much as far as it can go. And he has an itch to do something different. And we all should support that. We all should understand that. I know it's hard for other people that don't think this way, but when you're a creator or something and you're starting to get stale on it and you don't want to do it anymore and you want to do something else, I can understand how that must be really annoying to hear people, keep saying your show's not what it was and this and that. It's like, you know what? I'll just do something else. And that is the difference between somebody like him and somebody like us. It's hard to understand, from my point of view, or I'm sure a lot of people that think this way is, why do anything else? You have a dream job. You're doing this a couple days a week. You come in, you do your show. You have more time than most people have per se. Like in their head, that's what they're thinking. But when you're that kind of talent, when you have that kind of drive to put out, to create and do great things, you're not going to rest on that and just let that go out. And we're seeing other shows like KFC Radio is going through the same kind of thing. It's, you get to a point where you want to do something else, and he's going to be great at the other things that he does. It's just what it's going to be. It's going to be much, much different. It's going to be a completely different audience in the true crime. But for him, I actually think it's the perfect timing here at this point. I know it was abrupt, but I never expected anything else. I never expected anything else. I knew it was going to happen this way. I'm actually glad it did. I think a 6.5-year run for a podcast is a long time. He was great from the beginning to the end. He did unique things on his show that'll never be done again. I don't think somebody's going to be this interactive with their fans. I don't think they're going to bring their fans in, make games for people, and do the things that he did. I mean, it's a rare podcast, which I was willing to try to just wanted a little piece of, just a little something, just to be part of this greatness. And I'm just grateful to have been on one time, and that's it. There's just so many great things that came from it. And, I think it's, for me personally, I think at this point it's better just to let it go for myself, and to maybe there's creative things we can do on the network. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a ton of things we could do. There's a lot. There's definitely some rankings of some episodes we could do. I think a top 100, top 50 episodes all time. That'd be an unbelievable thing to do. Top show moments, stuff like that, creative stuff like that. But as far as a day-to-day show, reaction show, those days are over. The show's over. We're gonna have to come to the second stage of this, or what it's gonna look like as we move forward without the show. I don't know. I have mixed emotions altogether, and I kind of heard Manners, thinking that he's going to come back. I heard other people hoping he's going to come back, and it's like, I don't know what you heard. Maybe we heard two different things, but I heard somebody that's just ready to do something different. And those creative juices, he doesn't have that anymore for KMS. He wants to put it somewhere else, and that's who he is. And I think being supportive now is the most important thing. There's no need to go back anymore. If he doesn't want to do the show, why do you want the show? Him being fully engaged in the show is what is important for the show. If he's not, it's not going to be the same show. Is that what you really want? It's not what I really want. I'm extremely, extremely grateful for the amount of content he's given us, and look, a 10-year run doing the show the way he did. Going through the stuff he's been through, personal stuff, all that stuff is out there. It's a daily grind. You got a bunch of people around you that you're trying to keep employed and help and whatever. But I guess to the point where you just want to do what you want to do, and I think he's just totally all set with having to go in and deal with somebody like myself. To be quite honest, I don't even blame him. A true talent, a truly great person. I think he's, he's somebody that you can look up to and say that he's done things the way he wants. He's done his show the way he wants, and it's been a great show, and everything he aimed to accomplish seems like he has. And hard to knock. Can't really knock it. So I'm grateful for that. For that piece of history. 6.5 years. I'm glad it's. In some ways, I am glad it's kind of over. I've been kind of looking forward to thinking about what happened, and being able to kind of reflect and talk to people about it. And it's just to me, it was a guy that just wanted to do something different. And I'm kind of lost for words on it, to be honest. I didn't really prepare too much, because this is going to be it. And I'll be out with Bradley Stein later. But yeah, I think for myself, I've always said, once the show ended, for me, it's nothing going to ever be like this for me. I'm never going to try to lurch on to some other podcast or do anything. I mean, I enjoy doing the show I do on Facebook. I do a show where I interview people from my past, and we talk about things, and it's really fun. It's fun, not as much pressure. It's not too crazy, and I've enjoyed it. And look, I'm grateful to the producers. I'm gonna thank those guys. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Justin, Coleman, Gus, Mick, Carano, everybody else, Steve, all the guys that really kept the show going. Obviously, it's been a unbelievable experience for me. I never would have ever thought I'd spend 1 second as a third chair on that show. I'm still blown away by it, to sit next to a talent like that and talk and have that experience is something that it's never going to happen again, and I know that. I realized how special it was when it was going on. I really do. I really embraced the moment. I think I never took any of that for granted. It was an absolute pleasure to do it. Even the people that I hate, I'm glad I met you. Obviously Manners has been just a great a great inspiration for me in a way. Took a lot of chances, took a lot of heat. I respect what he does for the network. I respect the network. I respect all the people that do the shows, all them guys, Freddie, Bradley Stein, now the Wiener guys, even Pat Ford, who quit on the show. We didn't like it anymore until the bitches week. Even him. I know how it's quite the community. Obviously we got top 50 list left. I won't mention too much about that, but it would be an honor. It'd be an honor to be on there. We got the Laconia show coming up, but obviously it's not enough. It's a sad day yesterday, sad day today too. I was pretty bummed out, but I understand his decision. I'm glad that he's concrete on it, and I really do hope that it ends. I hope it's not one of those things where somebody comes back and it turns into this bastardized situation. I think getting out now was a great move for him. I think we could all see it. I think for the last few months, you could tell the struggles that he's going through. We all have struggles in our lives. My stuff's not out there publicly like a lot of his stuff would be. It's definitely tougher. His kids are older, and I really appreciate something he said the other day. It hit me, and it's just like I just want to be there with my kids, and that's I got so much respect for somebody that says that. That's what it's all about. Just a phenomenal, wants to be a phenomenal father. Made a decision to, hopefully it's helpful for him in his life with his kids and his family, and it's easier for him. Because I can truly understand that way of thinking. It's how we all should think with our children. We should all have that, thought that we want to be the best father we can be, and be there for our kids, and he's put it out there, and your kids get older, and maybe there's things you don't want your kids to see anymore, and it's probably the right move now, so they don't have to see the certain things that you don't want them to see or whatever it is. But I do feel bad for some people. Be quite honest, I feel bad for Mutt. I'm a big Mutt guy. Mutt still doesn't like me. That's okay, Mutt. I still love you, buddy. I love you, Mutt. But it's gonna be tough for him. Now he doesn't have that show once a week. What do you do? And you're gonna have to create. You have to. I'm sure Mutt will do the same exact thing. He'll do some horse racing. He'll do some whispering on the couch. Make some bets. He'll keep your job. And I mean, another thing Kirk's done, a unique thing that Kirk's kind of done is get two people hired at Barstool that really would never have been hired without him. I mean, I don't know how many people in there can really say that kind of stuff. Be getting Mutt and Clemmer hired. That's pretty impressive. And without him, it doesn't happen. So, he's had a great run at Barstool. I think it's pretty insulting, to be quite honest, for Menners yesterday. I'm going to say it's very insulting to think that the producers didn't bring enough to the show, and that's why he's leaving. They didn't hold him. They didn't give him enough to make him interested, and that's why he would leave. And it's like, do you really think like those guys would have any impact really on what he wants to do creatively? I mean, he's keeping Dave. So, I mean, if it really was just a producer thing and he wanted to stick with the show, that's why he got rid of the producers. I mean, it's not hard to see. I mean, I try to look at it through, what it must be like from an artist's eyes or somebody that's creating something. And when they've moved on from something and they want to go to something else, it's pretty obvious. Like it's done. That part is over. It's time to do something else with this. And I think the true crime thing, which I love. So I love true crime. So I'm excited for it. I'm a big Case fan. I listen to a lot of true crime. He's still going to do the dozen. I love the dozen. We'll be there talking shit, and when Clement fucks up, we'll be right there. Be right there to give him some couple smacks. But some of the other stuff he does, I'm not as interested in, I guess. But I love the Survivor, so he'll be around, and it's. But for me personally, there's not really any reason to be rummaging around online anymore and all that stuff because the show's over. I don't know what the network's going to hold. I don't think it's going to be a long stretch of people doing shows. I mean, I just don't think so. I mean, I know Manners will always be doing it. Manners is a podcast professional, so he will continue to do things. But I think as a show, a couple of months from now, there'll be not much to react to. The reaction shows will definitely be gone. I'm sure there'll be the other shows that go on that do stuff that doesn't pertain to the show. And good luck to him, And I'll be hopefully we can do some creative stuff. I think that's kind of the next bridge of the network here is what can we do to honor the show that's creative, And I'm willing to be part of any of those things. I just don't want to come on and talk about nonsense. I'd rather have some kind of plan, some kind of direction that we're going with something. And if we want to do, I would be definitely interested in doing something for like a top 100 episodes all time or a top 25 most important, events that happen on the show or just something like some kind of list, something like that. I mean, whatever, we want to break down old episodes. Tonight I gave clips for Buckle Up to Bradley Stein, my favorite episode of all time. I'm going to really miss Mick on the show. And so I'll give him one of my favorite episodes. I mean, just a great performance by Mick on that episode. I listened to it again today. That is a crazy fucking episode. But that those days are just the old days now. So I think being creative with the network would be fun and for that. But I think on the day-to-day, going in spaces, talking about the show, and it's unfortunate, but we're at the second piece. We're at the post-show time. It kind of matters. Said it a lot more eloquently. Oh, Jesus. But the show's over, and now we're on to this part of it. And I don't think anybody should have anything other than gratitude. We should be grateful for what we just saw. It was a great performance from a very talented guy who put everything into the show, and put out a great product, and then it's going to be it's a little weird to think it's not going to be part of my life anymore in a day to day basis. I got to be honest. I mean, 10 years, it's a long time. A decade of listening to this, and then to be gone is going to be kind of surreal. But in the end, we fought back, right? Some of us did, some of us didn't. I still the chicken fried thing still is very crazy. I don't know. People took all kinds of sides, and to me, it's pretty. When you take shots at somebody's mental health when they're out, when you had a year to come and you didn't do it, you're just a fucking coward. I mean, she is a coward, and also to me, it's like mental health is kind of a different thing. I'm sorry, I just think it is. You wouldn't talk about somebody that had stage 4 cancer either. Or you wouldn't talk to somebody who had like a real disease. I think the problem with mental health is people don't look at it for what it is. I mean, if somebody's fat or somebody's doing something stupid, or they can control those things, you can't control that. So I mean, I understand a couple days later you might not crack jokes, but I think in the moment it was just classless because she's just a piece of shit. She's raised by bad people. She's obviously a disgrace in her family. She must be. And if you can take shots at somebody in that, and to me, how I thought was, well, somebody that has mental health issues, and it could really affect young people, young families. Somebody's kids could be affected by that. It's not something to fucking joke around about. So, um, I don't know what the future holds for Kirk. I'm sure that won't be easily forgotten or ever forgotten. I'm sure we will see something down the road that comes from that whole exchange that happened. Obviously, Ryan Whitney was, again, the one thing I can say about Whitney is, he pretends like he was a big like he loved the Minifans and this and that, and he can say whatever he wants, but your actions tell a different story. And not for nothing, when he was at the golf match, he literally set up in the hills and didn't mingle with anybody except for Ryan. So, I mean, I just think that's who he is. I think Kirk has read him right. I'm sure they'll be fine after this. It doesn't really matter. Like, Whitney doesn't have to kiss the Minifan's ass, but you're also like a phony. Like, you don't really want to. You thought, in my mind, and that's fine. It is what it is. But he didn't want to mingle with any of those people. And even when he was at the basketball game, he really didn't. He didn't really associate with his fans. So, and that's just what it was. I mean, I was there at the golf match, and he literally sat in a golf cart at the top of the hills and didn't really mingle with anybody. So, it's sad to see. It's sad to see. I do think Kirk eventually the unnamed show will end. I think I'm hoping he sticks with the trivia because I really enjoy that. But at some point, now you can just do your case, and then that's your thing that you're going to do, and then you can do all the sub events just like you've been doing, and it's going to make more sense. He's going to get way more viewers from this true crime thing. This could actually be a huge thing that blows up like crazy. He's the right guy to do it. He's the guy to do it. He seems really interested. I was wrong about it. I had arguments with other people. I never thought he would be this invested in it, but yep, it just seems that way, and I'm really happy for him. He's done it the way he wanted to do it, and that's the most important thing you can say in any job that you're going to do or anything you're going to do. If you're going to create a show and do it the way you want to do it, and again, I think Portnoy should be given his due for giving him the platform to do it. Everybody's all on Portnoy, and he's a piece of shit, whatever. Not the greatest fan of Portnoy. At the end of the day, Kirk could have went on his own and definitely accomplished it. It's not that he couldn't have done it. Of course he could have done it. They could have went on their own, but it would have been different. He got a huge bump from the Barstool. And that was a big piece of the show in the beginning, fucking with those guys and also the audience, So I know Kirk is 100% he's grateful for it. He obviously has always said that Dave's one of the greatest bosses he's ever had. Oh, if not the best boss he's ever had. And it's been a great relationship. So I am truly grateful to Dave for that too, because without it, we don't have this show. We just don't this version of it. And I think everybody that's been involved has done a great job. And I appreciate everything everybody's done. And I've enjoyed meeting all the Minute fans that I've met, even the ones that I don't like. Thank you for being who you are. What a world it is. But I think I'm going to get off now. I think this is about it. Um, Again, the next time you may see me, hopefully, will be doing something interesting, talking about the Kirk Minahan show because it's really all I'm interested in doing. I don't really have too much. There's nothing more to really talk about with the show because it's over. And for me, it's. I always said when the show ended, I was definitely going to get out of here. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. And I appreciate Manners. Thank you so much for the platform. Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate what you've done for me. I hope when you do come down that we can meet up when you come down for Laconia, which should be an unbelievable event. So I'm looking forward to getting those tickets. Thank you for all the guys. Bam, everybody that's been around. John Warren, love you. Steve from Gloucester, Kevin from Bristol. Matt from Providence. Great. John hit the big shot that we all forget about. Cinema. All these guys. Andy Mayo. There's a million people we can think about in the Minifan world. Tons of people. Donna Jeweler. David and Marilyn. Way more pub than you should have, but congratulations. Mikey Grabbags. Love Mikey Grabbags. He's not going anywhere. He's got exclusive rights now, it seems like, with Dave Portnoy. So he's not going anywhere. Ziggy Robinson. Where have you been? I know he's behind the scenes still killing it. Tons of people. Just I got Cliff. Whoever else. It doesn't really matter. There's a million of them. Any comments? Let's go. John Warren. Goodbye, Kane. Goodbye, John. I know you're happy. No, I'm not doing any of that. There's nothing to co-host anymore, my friend. This is it. Turkey or ham? I mean, is that even a question? I mean, honestly, Clinton, come on. Ham is what the fake people use. You got to use turkey is all we can do. I mean, my mother just called me today. It's all set up over there. She's excited. We get a fresh turkey every year from Willow Tree. Made our own cranberry sauce. We got all the fixings. Should be great. All the family's down. Everybody's excited. It's oh boy. There he is.
Hey, holding up, buddy.
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm not actually good. That's a lie. I'm depressed. I'm too depressed even to watch your shit tonight. Like you're sending me stupid messages about Manners Live. I mean, honestly, I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in a mood to dealing with Kane shit. But
didn't you say that you've made it past all the stages of grief? You're at the end now, acceptance, right?
I did. No, I didn't say that. I said I haven't hit acceptance yet. I don't think I'm ever going to hit acceptance. It says here, goodbye, Kane. Is this the end of Kane's corner?
I think so, Manners. I think so. I said before that when this show ended, I think I really only care about the show. But I said in the show now that
you think Kane Mess just ends? You think just because Kirk says I'm not going to do a show anymore, Minifan World, Kane, everything just stops?
No, I didn't say that. So what I said was, if we have some special projects we want to do and fun shows, I'm willing to be part of. But it's a reaction show. I mean, how am I supposed to do this every week when there's no show? It doesn't make any sense.
That's true. That's true.
And it's time to kind of just step back a little bit and enjoy whatever it's going to turn into. Look, there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, I heard Mama Kay. She made a good point. There's Office podcasts. There's probably Seinfeld podcasts. There's probably all kinds of these podcasts out there. I talk about a show that's ended, but it's hard.
The Kane ladies. You could do your Office ladies.
Yeah. So how you been today? You feel a little better today at all, or is it just as bad as yesterday?
No, not really. No, not at all. To be honest, even worse actually. It's just getting worse with the reality of it. But I've still got hope that the show's going to come back. So while you still have hope, I listened back. I did two things. I listened back to the Unnamed show, and if I'm Kirk, a lot of what's said in that show by my boss Dave would make me consider stopping KMS. So I'm sure that played into it. As I've said before, just making him out to be the crazy guy. It's EEI all over again. And secondly, I listened back to the final KMS show, and there's no way Kirk is sure about this decision. This is a flinch reaction to a down period. This is I feel sorry for him that he's got no one around him to just say, steady up. Like, maybe take a break, maybe take the rest of the year off, and let's revisit this. The show can evolve, the show can change. As I said, once a week, I think, if he's feeling the way he is, I would have said to him, let's go once a week for a while, because then instantly the show changes character. You've got less hours to fill. You're not going to get in as much trouble. You can really dial it into the stuff you want to talk about. Anyway, I've got to I feel like my head is spinning in the last few days, and I can't.
Is that what you want when he doesn't want to do the show? I mean, that's to me is like. If
I don't agree with that though. He loves the show. He's happy doing the show. It's actually the thing that makes him laugh a lot. Like, if I'm his therapist, I'm saying, okay, I hear you on the show. You're laughing. You're having a good time. Like, why would you give that up? Like, I don't get that.
I think he'll definitely
miss it. Of course he's going to miss it. I can tell you he's going to miss it. It's way too extreme. He sounds like someone who's been through the ringer in lots of ways. He's alluded to having a really heavy few months or whatever it is. And totally have a ton of sympathy for his feelings. Like, I heard him, I heard what he said. Like, he's not happy doing the show in its current form.
Sure.
And took that on board. But I don't think the reaction should be then just quit the show. Like, I think there were more things you could have tried. And I just don't believe he doesn't want to do it. Like, I hear, like, you telling me he's not going to miss the laughs and the good times. He built a show. Will. He built a show because he loves sitting around with the boys, yucking it up, right? The Case, the Unnamed Show, and definitely Project Big Screen is not going to give it to him. So, and I think, like, when you step back, if you'd done KMS once a week, like if you'd say taking the rest of the year off and then come back once a week, you think about what a great week that is for him. He gets to have a bit of fun on KMS, gets to talk about movies with Chris and Jeff and the other two. He gets to go on Unnamed, which is a big platform, and then he can still do the Case as much as he wants.
Yeah, I think for him, though, he thinks like that's kind of half-assed, and I think that's the problem. Like he looks at the Unnamed Show as kind of like a show he just goes on, but that's kind of a half-assed show in a way. I don't think KMS he looks at that way. I don't think he's just going to go back and bastardize it. I don't think he's coming back at all. I think it's the right decision. I think he's made the right decision because he wants to do the Case, and I'm happy for him. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy.
Your criticism yesterday. I can't imagine that two producers like that could ever. The reason he would leave is because they didn't do enough. Like, to me, that's just insulting to him. Like, I don't think that is possible at all. I think he just is done. He said it on his space the other day. Maybe 2 weeks ago, he said, "I want to blow this whole thing up and start over with all the different people." And at that point,
absolutely, Justin and Cullinane, wore him down. The Minifans wore him. So I've actually been, and look, people are going to hear me talk about this a lot. So just strap in, I'm booking the next Minifandom. But, I think about a timeline. And so I'm trying to step back and put some historical perspective on it.
Okay.
And, and look, this is not going to be long, but basically, I think Mike moving to Western Mass and stepping back was not a part in him quitting, but a part in the show reaching a point where he felt he could walk away. Because
I agree.
I think Kirk won't admit it, but it just practically meant that instead of Mike being in there quite a lot, you had all these randoms, and you have weeks where, and I know as someone who does podcasts, it is harder when you go in and you don't know someone. You have to work a lot harder. You don't know what you're going to get. Whereas if I'm going in, and look, there's more people than Mike who are very good on the show, but Mike stepping away just, I think, precipitated a change in the show. I think Cullinane coming back, you can say what you like, but that definitely was a sign that Kirk was kind of taking the easy way, because it's not just me. If you listen to other shows, other people reacting, there's a pretty strong feeling that bringing Cullinane back was a mistake if you want the show to evolve and keep being interesting and keep being what KMS is about. You go on the ride with PRC, even if those first 2 weeks are horrible, like he was on Men is Live. You've got that. You've got
Has
that.
he had
happening.
a good week yet, or when's that coming?
No, he's great. He's doing really good. I'm really proud of PRC. He's really stepped up.
He's a good guy.
He could produce the show now, but so I think the sort of those 2 things, and then just the show kind of. I just think
6.5 years. It's a long run.
Just Justin and Cullinane don't bring anything to the show, and so I think the show just kind of ran out a bit of juice. You've got weak third chairs, you've got weak topics, you got no sounds, you've got I mean, Justin, who was crying like a fucking baby, should look inward at like why the guy he's producing came in and said, "Oh, I don't want to do this show anymore." Like Cullinane's too, I guess, vain to look in the mirror and maybe question his own performance. But if I'm Justin, who actually genuinely did love the show, those tears were absolutely heartfelt. Go, like, what did I do then? Like, because Manners and all these people are criticizing me, and I would just be a stubborn fat prick. Well, maybe they had a point. Like, maybe some of the criticisms I should have taken on board, and I wouldn't be, looking at a career in hospitality again.
Well, he's also keeping.
Do you have a job for him? Can you hire him? Because it's probably, it can't be long before he's out of a job. Like,
I don't know what he's going to do, but I like Justin. I think if you really think though, like he's keeping Dave around. If he really thought that was the case, he would have switched out the producers. I think he just doesn't want to do the show. It's hard to blame the producer. I understand where you're coming from. I think it's all him, and I don't think it matters.
But he never tried at doing it a weekly show. Look at most podcasts are weekly.
That's true.
It's almost like, and I did think this, and which is why in the back of my mind I've always had it becoming a weekly show as a possibility. Like he was doing like a radio show. He didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
And I think as well, if he does one show a week, it'll be appointment viewing.
Sure. Do you think that won't be KMS anymore? It's going to be a different show. So I could see him doing something different.
Well, it should be the Kirk Minahan show once a week. I mean, don't complicate it. And then I sort of think, Kirk, I wonder who he went to for advice about this. I'm really curious because, okay, he doesn't have a mum and dad. Yep. His brother's in jail.
Sure.
Just a joke, but you get it. And so Ryan, maybe he goes to Ryan, maybe he goes to Jeff Lowe, maybe he goes to Clemmer. I don't know who Kirk.
Girl. Who knows?
Shut up. Maybe he goes to Kate, right?
Yeah,
but I want to know who was like, yeah, you should do this. Like, because I would have said, as I said, take a break till the end of the year. Think about it then. And, if I'm his producer, I'm saying, okay, if I'm his producer, okay, I'm thinking he's a great talent. I can't let this guy just like quit his show because he's had a bad few months. Like, I've got to it's my job to keep him in the game. And that's why I've listened to him. I actually think, pulling the ripcord and going to once a week, as dramatic as that would have been, because you think about it, people would have been furious, just as furious as they are with the show ending.
Pretty close.
But I haven't given up. Like, I know you're the sort of person that just gives up. You take everything on face value. Grateful. You don't read between the lines. I'm grateful.
You don't sound it. I mean, what if he really wants to do something different? Shouldn't you support that?
I'm not saying he shouldn't do anything. I said don't do the case. He should keep doing the show 4 days.
He doesn't want to do KMS. He doesn't want to do it, or he would just do it once a week.
I don't believe him.
I think he's going to be off the unnamed show soon too. I don't think he's going to keep up with that. I don't think so. He's going all case. He's going to have a whole new audience. People don't even really know who he is except for us. And I think he's just going to go off into the sunset. I really do, with Dave Cullinane as his producer. I mean, Dave's going to be great on the case.
Well, I'm going to still be the number one Minna fan in terms of whatever he's doing. I'm going to be around doing a network show about it. I haven't let go yet. Maybe this will change. Maybe I'll just let go eventually. But I want to hold on hope that it'll be coming back.
And we all have to live with the show before last was with Bobby Costa, which was, it's unfortunate, but we all have to, endure that pain. But man, it's tough.
All right. Well, I got to go, but I just wanted to jump on and have a chat with you.
So before you go though, what is the
Yeah.
network? I heard you say it yesterday, kind of, but like the network plan is to go as normal, and people just do their shows and see how it goes.
Yeah, everybody is going to do that. Everybody is free to react they want to. I know you're quitting straight away. That's fine. I think after this, we've got Brad's Bible studies. Was going to have I think that's his last episode. So I won't be able to join. Unfortunately, some work's come up, but should be a great all-star cast. So I'm planning on doing a Manners Live this weekend with JFS. I've got a Minifandom book with Cliff, and I'm going to get somebody else on, and we'll start to unpack all this. And then, I'll just sort of keep going for the foreseeable future. So I'm taking my own advice, Kane, right? I'm not making any big decisions because I'm too upset. Yes. So that's why I'm just saying, and why anything might change. I'm just saying everything's business as usual at the moment. It's probably going to take me another 6 years to get over this. But yeah, I'm just aware that now's not the right time for me to deciding anything. Like my brain's like talk about bipolar emotions in the last few days. And you can't even I still can't reminisce about the show yet. Like that's
tough.
It's like the body's barely cold yet. But I have had tons of I can't tell you how many Minifans have reached out to me over the last couple of days. So people are hurting. People are hurting. Yes. People said it's like losing a friend. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave you finish your show, but love to the Minifans. And I think Friday night, probably with John from Scranton. I've got to confirm with him and Minifandom next week with Cliff. But Kane, enjoy your new life without KMS.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. See ya. Oof. Listen, the producer show doesn't count. Now, thank you, Manners, my favorite person on earth. It's gonna be tough to move away from this. I'm not gonna lie. The producer show, yes, they count. I mean, we had to endure Bobby Costa on the end with a dreadful performance. Just as he's been on the show. This was the guy who was gonna replace Mike Geary. That's the guy. I love Bobby. I'm not gonna talk shit. I'm a big Bobby guy, but saying he had live reads going on. I mean, I see your views on YouTube. It's like 50 people. So good for you, my friend. Let's see. Meta shirt. That was fire. That's only. I think that's only a shirt you can buy in Australia. To be quite honest. Let's see. Anything else? These are the people I hate so much. Who the fuck cares? KMS is over. It was terrible for over a year. You can't say it was terrible for over a year. No, you can't. You can say there maybe some terrible moments over the year. Maybe. It definitely wasn't. I mean, let's stop. You're going to have to go out now and find something else, and it's never going to replace what this is. It's not going to happen. I was kind of young when Stern was on, but even Stern, it didn't have the fan interaction like this does. This is a crazy group of people that are going to show up to Laconia and put on a whole weekend of. I mean, how many? There may be podcasts that are bigger. There are obviously a lot of podcasts that are bigger, and I'm sure the big podcasts they could definitely fill up big places and do a big show. I mean, obviously the really big podcasts could do it. But for a podcast this size to have this kind of following, to me, seems pretty rare. And that's why, for me, I always wanted to be involved as much as possible because I knew at some point it was just going to end like this. I knew it. And it did. And, did I shed some tears? Of course I shed some tears, Of course. But, what are you going to do? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you, any of you people, satisfaction doing on air. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that, but privately, yes. I think Kirk is a class act. I think, everything he's done as a broadcaster is commendable. He's amazing on the mic, obviously, and has proven it. for the last 10 years. It's over. It's absolutely fucking over. Manners is living a fantasy life in the backside. Any of these guys, I heard Kevin from Bristol last night too. These guys are holding on to something they really shouldn't be holding on to. He doesn't want to do it, and I don't want to show that he doesn't want to do it, because when he's engaged and it's his product and he's going at it full speed, that's what the Kirk Minahan show is. If you're going to come in once a week and just do some fucking show that he doesn't really care about, that's not the Kirk Minahan show. That's not what we're used to as fans. So I think gratitude is needed again. So many people have come through. Greg Poehler. Did we find out today he was the Trump caller? I don't think he was. I think he let Mayo think that, but I was hoping he was, because that would have been awesome. But I don't think so. I don't think any of these guys should come out and say who they are either. Just leave it as is. Let the art speak for itself. It's art. One of the funnest amount of time. The last 2 years for me, it's crazy times happen, and a lot of stupid shit. A lot of shit happened in my life the last few years, And this show was something that I just always had a fallback on, and was so grateful to be part of it. Be part of it with you guys. And that's going to be it. This is it. John, come watch my Facebook show, my friend. It's pretty good. That's about it. Jesus Christ, Dogley. I know. Yes. Oh my God. You kidding me? Pains me to say Manners will be a rock star in New Hampshire. Oh my God. He's going to be. What an appearance that's going to be in New Hampshire. The guy down under. Hopefully you can get Jackson there too, which would be great. That would be awesome too, to get them all there, because after that show, it's that weekend. Make sure you block it off, because it's going to be a phenomenal time. As Don the Jeweler, or what does he call it? What's the other account he has? The Sunset account. I don't even know what it is. The Golden Hour account, whatever. It's going to be a movie. He told me that yesterday. I know that's you, Don. I know that's you. Two horrible accounts, but at least Don has made some impact, but he's still an asshole. See anything else in here? And thank you. Sad day, bad day. Yes, Big Red. Sad day, bad day. Let's see. Penners. He was excited about Bitches Week drama, excited about Bill Trudell aspect, excited about Black Friday ban. I agree with Mez that he enjoys the show. Yes. No. Of course he's going to miss stuff. Of course he enjoys it. But at some point, you got to end it. It's got to end. There's a lot of selfish people out there in this fucking audience. Let me tell you. God. Not you, Penner. Not you. Not you, buddy. You're a great guy. Part of that committee. You're good with me, my friend. But yes, like at some point, don't you want what's best for the person that wants it? I don't know. I just find it to be kind of like these people like, I understand you love the show, but he's not dead. He's not going anywhere. He's going to do other stuff. So it's not like we're never going to see the guy again. I think that's my thing that's kind of confusing, because acting like the guy's going to die. He's dead. He's not dead. He's still here. I mean, you may get something. I'm sure he'll pop back in and give you everything that you need. But for me, 1,050 episodes or whatever, I mean, it's enough. It's enough. And, there's plenty of stuff to do here on the network. You know what? I'm going to change what I said. I'm going to be done with this show, but I'm going to do stuff on the network. Definitely. I'm sorry, Manners. I'll be there for you. That means the world to me. That means the world to me. Yes. I'm a big Jackson guy. Thank you, Jackson. Penners, thank you too, buddy. What a couple 6.5 years it's been for me. A couple years. I'm gonna sign off. Kane's Corner's done. Unless he comes back. If he comes back, we start all over again. But Bradley Stein will be on next. I got a good clip, my favorite clip. Hopefully he has it clipped up. If not, Bradley, I may have to bow out, but you better have my clip. We're not going to do Kane's Kitchen. Yes, you know what? Maybe we will. Maybe we will. I mean, you can come on Facebook. I got some good stuff going there. With friends of the program, friends I grew up with, doing some interviews. Maybe we'll do a Kane's Kitchen, maybe. But I'm going to sign off now. So thank you very much. Thank you for all the support, Don, especially you. You've been here every episode watching. I appreciate you. Kirk, good luck in your next ventures. It's been an absolute fucking pleasure to watch you work, to go on your show, and to be part of this world. And just, I don't ever think of, not ever anything that I'll ever be able to really replace. So there'll be nothing, well, the podcast or any other, I guess I have to go back to like sports. Maybe I have to go back to sports. I guess I could go to Blind Mike's. Blind Mike, another great guy. Great guy. Did you forget Ted Sellers on that list? He did. Is he in charge of this next top 50 list? He is. The concern? No, not at all. Not at all. Good guy. Great show. Blind Mike Project. Maybe I'll go there. I'm not sure. But as far as Kane Korner goes, this is it. So thank you very much. Have a good one. I love you guys.